Do you see all that wet on our windows? That is how humid it is outside. Good morning. Yes, it is very humid here. I mean, it's the type of humidity where if you walk outside, you feel like you're walking into a sauna. It is just very thick, and you instantly start to just sweat and feel wet even. Anyways, that being said, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do today. One of the things I wanted to do was go around to some different antique stores and a couple thrift stores and see if I can't find a jelly strainer. I wanted an old-fashioned one because the things that they sell now are not very heavy duty. They just, you know, what can I say? Make them cheap. Because I found this really good apple cinnamon honey jam. Now, I did have a subscriber ask if they could do the jam that, like how I did the jelly jam and the blueberry jam with apples, and no. You really can't. It's just not going to work with the chia seeds. But this particular recipe does not take pectin, and it does not use sugar. It uses honey. And this recipe says that there is natural pectin found in the skin. So we're to leave the skins intact. And, well, you know, we will do it together when the apples in my area become in season, because they're not in season yet. And when our apples go in season, they are quite inexpensive. So that's why I'm going to wait, because I can get a lot of apples pretty cheap. And so that is something we're going to be doing. And like I said, I need a jelly strainer for that. Anyways, that's just one thing that I'm planning on doing. I do have some other things that I'm planning on doing, and I will talk to you about that at another time. And I hope that you will want to stay with me throughout my day, and I'll talk to you in just a little while. I wanted to let everyone know that I did go out, and I went on a search at thrift stores and antique stores in order to find myself an old jelly strainer. And I ended up going to 3 with success at the 3rd one. I don't have the jelly strainer, but when I asked the owner if she happened to have one, she said, yes, she does, but it's not in the store, because she had just gone to a sale and she had purchased one of those, and everything that she had purchased at that estate sale was in boxes still, and she needed to go through the boxes to find them because they were in her home, not at her place of business. So she's going to be giving me a call in the next couple days, and hopefully, even though we didn't talk money because I didn't see it yet, hopefully it'll be something that I can afford, and it will be a lot cheaper than the new ones that they want. So I am a little excited, because you know what? I think this lady might have just what I need. So I came on home after going and getting my milk and that kind of fun stuff, and yeah, I know I'm getting a little wordy here, but did you ever just really get hungry for something? Well, that was me. I couldn't stop thinking about chocolate all the way home. So I'm gonna make some no-bakes, but these no-bakes are made with honey instead of sugar. So I thought maybe you would be interested in that. And I will get that together and talk to you in just a little bit. And this recipe is pretty simple, because all you need is 1 cup of peanut butter, 1/2 to 3/4 cup of honey, 1/2 cup of coconut oil or 1/2 cup of butter, 6 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2 teaspoons of vanilla, and 2 1/4 cups of quick oats. So I got my stuff together, and I'm going to be using the butter, and this particular recipe is telling you that you should have natural peanut butter, because then there won't be any sugar in it. I'm not going that far. I try to avoid sugar when possible, but I am not looking at sugar like as the enemy. I just want to avoid as much sugar as I can. So that's why I've chosen to do a lot of things with honey. So let's get this on the road because I am really in the mood for some chocolate. Okay, so here we are. We have our saucepan, and we are going to be adding to our saucepan 1 cup of peanut butter, and it said 1/2 to 3/4, so I decided to use my 3/4 cup measure, but as you can see, I didn't quite fill it up all the way. And we're going to add our butter, and we are going to gently warm this up. Oh, I'm supposed to add the cocoa powder. Oh, I almost forgot. It is smelling really good. All we're trying to do is to get this to be a little bit bubbly, and then we will add our vanilla and our oats. Okay, so we are going to turn this down more, and I am going to add 2 teaspoons of my vanilla to this. And then I am going to add my oats. And then we're just going to drop these onto some either wax paper or some foil and let them cool. Let's go get that part done. So I will just go ahead and drop these onto this paper here. Just making them whatever size you prefer. Yep, couldn't resist that one. And I will just continue doing this, and I'll show you what they're like when they're all cooled. For today's devotion, we are going to be reading in Ephesians chapter 4, verse 7. But to each one of us grace was given according to the measure of Christ's gift. The Bible teaches that grace is completely unmerited. We need to understand that the gift and the act of giving have nothing at all to do with our merit or any of our own natural qualities. In fact, the Bible says quite clearly that we don't deserve God's salvation. Romans chapter 5, verses 8 to 11 says, God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. While we were still sinners, we were reconciled to him through the death of Jesus Christ. And grace, it does not stop once we're saved. God is gracious to us for the rest of our lives, working within us and for us. The Bible provides us with encouragement by showing us the many benefits that grace secures for every believer. Here are just a few. Grace justifies us before a holy God. Grace provides us with access to God to communicate and to fellowship with him. Grace provides us intimacy with God. Grace disciplines and trains us to live in a way that honors God. Grace grants us immeasurable spiritual riches. Grace helps us in our every need. and grace preserves us and comforts, encourages, and strengthens us each and every day. You see, grace is actively and continually working in the lives of God's people. Paul credited the success of his ministry not to his own substantial labors, but to the grace of God that was within me, as we're told in 1 Corinthians 15:10. Grace is the ongoing, benevolent act of God working in us, without which we could do nothing ourselves. Grace is greater than our sin and more abundant than we expect, and too wonderful for words. Because of God's grace, Christians are to be gracious to others. Grace is given to us so that we can serve others and to exercise our spiritual gifts for the building up of the church. And with that, I want to remind you, life happens. Let's enjoy it. And I want to read to you Romans chapter 4, verse 5. But people are counted as righteous, not because of their work, but because of their faith in God, who forgives sinners. That is truly grace. God bless. And I will talk to you on Monday.